Ever feel like your emotions are running the show? Welcome to the Power of Emotional Intelligence podcast. I am Marc Monteil, citizen of the world, founder of Intemotionnelle, and I'm here to help you build stronger connections, deepen self-awareness, and grow your resilience in today's ever-changing world. In each episode, we explore real-life insights, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you tap into the full potential of emotional intelligence. Whether you are aiming to excel at work, strengthen your relationships, or enrich your personal life, you are in the right place. Let's get started. And hey, don't forget to follow the channel, share it with friends, and give us a 5-star rating to help more people develop their emotional intelligence. Thank you for listening, and don't keep this journey to yourself. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Power of Emotional Intelligence. Today, we are talking about motivation, one of the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence. The force that gets you out of bed, keeps you moving toward your goals, and helps you turn dreams into reality. But let me ask you this. Have you ever felt stuck? Like you know what you want to do, but you just can't seem to get started? Or maybe you have set big goals, but somewhere along the way your energy fizzled out. Well, you're not alone. And that's exactly why this episode is so important. As Tony Robbins says, people are not lazy. They simply have important goals. That's it. Goals that do not inspire them. Today, we are breaking down what really drives us, exploring the science behind motivation, and sharing powerful practical tips to help you rediscover your spark, overcome procrastination, and stay focused on what matters most. So, whether you are looking to crush a big career milestone, finally tackle that passion project, or just stay consistent with your daily habits, this episode is for you. Let's get started and unlock the motivation you have been waiting for.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Power of EI. Today, we're tackling a topic that's absolutely essential for, well, pretty much everything you want to achieve in life: motivation.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the 5 key pillars of emotional intelligence, and for good reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about it. You can have all the talent in the world, but without motivation, you're not going to reach your full potential.
Absolutely.
We'll be exploring the science behind what makes us tick, why some days we're unstoppable, while others it's a struggle to even get off the couch.
Right.
And most importantly, we've got some seriously actionable tips to help you supercharge your motivation and actually achieve those goals you've been dreaming of.
I love it.
Stick around, you won't want to miss this.
You know, it's interesting. We often think of motivation as this magical force that either we have or we don't. But the reality is motivation is much more nuanced than that.
It's not like a light switch you can just flip on and off.
Exactly. And that's actually good news because it means we have more control over our motivation than we might think.
Okay, but let's be real. There are definitely times when motivation feels totally out of reach.
For sure.
Like, you should be working on something important, but you just can't seem to muster the energy to even get started.
You're describing the classic problem of procrastination. We get sidetracked by distractions, we hit a roadblock, and suddenly anything other than the task at hand seems infinitely more appealing.
Tell me about it. Or, how about this? You finally get crystal clear on that big, ambitious goal you want to go after, and then nothing crickets, no follow-through.
It's like there's this gap between knowing what we want to do and finding the actual drive to do it.
That's a perfect way to put it. So where does science come in? Can understanding the psychology of motivation actually help us bridge this gap and get ourselves moving?
Absolutely. It's like having a user manual for your own brain, helping you understand the forces that drive your behavior.
All right, I'm all in. Give me that user manual.
Well, one of the most foundational theories is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Picture a pyramid at the base. You've got your basic physiological needs, like food, water, shelter.
The essentials. Gotta have those covered.
Right, and as you move up the pyramid, you hit psychological needs like belonging, feeling loved and respected. And finally, at the very top, self-actualization, reaching your full potential.
Wow.
But here's the key. Maslow argued that you need to satisfy those lower level needs before you can be truly motivated by the higher ones.
So if I'm stressed about paying rent, it's going to be tough to focus on, say, writing that novel I've always dreamed of.
Exactly. It's like trying to build a house on a shaky foundation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What other theories should we be aware of?
Another one that's particularly relevant to the workplace is Hertzberg's two-factor theory.
Okay.
Hertzberg found that certain factors like salary, job security, decent working conditions, those prevent dissatisfaction, but they don't necessarily lead to motivation.
So those are kind of like the baseline, important but not necessarily inspiring.
Exactly. He called those hygiene factors.
Right.
But he also found that true motivators are things like challenging work recognition for achievements, opportunities for growth and responsibility.
The stuff that makes you feel good about your work and you're contributing.
Precisely so. If you're feeling unmotivated at work, it might be worth asking yourself, am I getting enough of those motivator factors? Is there something more I could be doing to challenge myself and grow?
This is great stuff. I'm already starting to see how these theories can play out in real life.
Okay.
I'm ready for more. What else do we have in this motivation toolbox?
Yeah.
Lay some more motivation wisdom on me. What other theories do we need to know?
Okay, let's talk about expectancy theory.
Okay.
This one's a bit more complex, but it's really insightful.
Cool.
Imagine you're considering taking on a new project at work, something outside your comfort zone. According to expectancy theory, your motivation to tackle that project hinges on three things.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
First, there's expectancy, how much you believe your effort will actually lead to success. Do you think you can actually pull this project off? If you don't, your motivation's going to be pretty low from the start.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Why bother if you don't think you can succeed?
Exactly. Then there's instrumentality, your belief that success on the project will actually lead to rewards, maybe a promotion, a raise more recognition.
Right.
If you don't see that connection, your motivation's going to suffer.
Right. Like, if I work my tail off but know my boss never gives promotions, I'm probably not going to be that excited about going above and beyond.
Exactly. And finally, there's valence, how much you actually value those rewards.
Okay.
Is a promotion even something you want right now, or would you rather have more flexible hours or the chance to learn a new skill?
Right.
If the reward isn't meaningful to you, your motivation's going to be low.
So it's like all three of these things have to be in place for us to really feel motivated.
Exactly. Expectancy theory reminds us to set ourselves up for success. Believe in our ability to achieve the goal. Make sure it aligns with rewards we truly care about, and trust that those rewards will actually materialize.
Okay, I'm loving these frameworks. What else you got?
Well, goal-setting theory is a classic for a reason.
Okay.
It's pretty intuitive. Specific, challenging goals are much more motivating than vague aspirations.
Yeah.
Lose weight is less motivating than lose 10 pounds by summer, for example.
Oh, yeah, totally. Having a clear target makes a huge difference.
Exactly. The more concrete and challenging the goal, the better. Gives you something tangible to strive for, a clear path to follow.
And speaking of striving, what about those times when we're working towards a really big, ambitious goal? It can feel completely overwhelming.
That's where the power of breaking things down comes in. Divide that massive goal into smaller, more manageable steps. Climbing a mountain one step at a time, right?
Love that analogy. It suddenly feels much more doable.
Right. You wouldn't try to summit Everest in one giant leap. Celebrate those small wins along the way. They're crucial for staying motivated and avoiding burnout.
This reminds me of something else I found helpful, real-time feedback.
Yeah.
Like when my fitness tracker tells me how many steps I've taken or calories I've burned, it gives me a little boost to keep going.
Exactly. Real-time feedback, no matter how small, makes progress feel more tangible and reinforces your motivation. It's like those dopamine hits keep you moving forward.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here with these theories.
We have.
But before we move on to your actionable tips, there's one more. I'm really fascinated by self-determination theory.
Okay.
Can you tell me more about that one?
Absolutely. This theory highlights three fundamental psychological needs that are essential for motivation, autonomy, competence, and connection.
I'm all about that connection.
Yeah.
It seems to be coming up a lot in different contexts.
It's super important in the context of self-determination theory. Connection is about feeling a sense of belonging, of being supported and understood by others. It could be your colleagues, your friends, your family.
Yeah.
Feeling that sense of connection fuels your motivation.
Okay, what about autonomy?
Autonomy is all about feeling in control of your choices and actions. You're doing something because you want to, not because someone's forcing you. It's that sense of ownership that fuels your intrinsic motivation.
I love that. It's like I'm the captain of my own ship. And competence.
Competence is that feeling of being capable and effective at what you do.
Okay.
When you feel confident in your abilities, you're more likely to take on challenges and persevere even when things get tough.
But feeling incompetent can be pretty demotivating.
Yeah.
Like, why bother if I'm just going to fail?
That's why it's so important to find that sweet spot between challenge and ability, stretching ourselves without setting ourselves up for constant failure.
All right, so we've got autonomy, competence, connection, the trifecta for intrinsic motivation. I'm ready to put all this knowledge into action.
You got it. Let's shift gears and dive into those tips I promised.
Okay, I'm ready to put all this motivation knowledge into action. Where do we start?
It all begins with understanding your why. What truly drives you? What are your core values, passions, and the things that give your life meaning?
You mean like what gets me out of bed in the morning?
Exactly. Connect your goals to those deeper motivations. When you're working towards something that resonates with your core values, it's much easier to stay motivated even when things get tough.
Because it's not just a should, it's a must. Something that truly matters.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a strong why. What's next?
Now it's time to set some SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Ah, yes, the classic SMART goals framework. I've heard of it, but honestly never really implemented it.
Right.
It's amazing how much of a difference that clarity can make.
It really does. When you have a clear roadmap, it's much easier to stay focused, track your progress, and celebrate those wins along the way. Which brings us to another important point.
Celebrating the wins. We've got to acknowledge and appreciate our progress, no matter how small.
Absolutely. Those small wins create positive momentum, reinforce your motivation, and help prevent burnout.
It's like giving yourself a high five for every milestone you reach.
I love that. Okay, so we've got a strong why, we've set SMART goals, we're celebrating our wins. What else can we do to keep that motivation engine running?
I'm all ears.
This one might sound counterintuitive, but find your fun.
Wait, you're telling me to inject more fun into my work?
Absolutely. Think about what activities energize you, what makes you feel alive and engaged, and find ways to incorporate those things into your daily routine, even in small doses.
So like listening to my favorite music or podcast while I'm working on a challenging task.
Perfect example. Or maybe it's taking a quick break to walk outside and get some fresh air. Even small doses of enjoyable activities can make a big difference in your overall motivation levels.
I love that it's about making the journey more enjoyable, not just focusing on the destination.
Exactly. And finally, cultivate a growth mindset.
Ah, yes. The power of mindset. Tell me more.
A growth mindset means embracing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than seeing them as threats or setbacks.
So when I hit a roadblock, I should see it as a chance to learn something new, to get stronger, to figure out a creative solution.
Exactly. This resilience is essential for staying motivated, even when faced with obstacles. And don't forget the power of your social circle. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage your goals.
You mean like surrounding myself with awesome people who cheer me on?
Exactly. Their positive energy can be contagious and give you an extra boost when you need it most. It's like having your own personal cheer squad.
This has been an incredible journey through the science of motivation. We've learned so much about the forces that drive our behavior, and more importantly, how we can take control of those forces and use them to our advantage.
It's not about forcing ourselves. It's about understanding what truly matters to us and aligning our actions with those values.
Remember, you're in control of your own motivation. Start small, experiment with these tips, and find what works best for you.
And don't be afraid to reach out for support when you need it. We're all in this together.
So here's a challenge for you. What's one small step you can take today to boost your motivation and get closer to your goals? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for joining us on The Power of EI.